guys, this is Genuinely Gigi, and I am back for another video. So today we're going to be discussing the definition of narcissistic personality disorder. And this video is going to be a little different because it's not going to be my personal opinion. I'm actually going to be discussing the professional definition of a narcissist. And the reason why is because I think a lot of people like to throw around the word narcissist lightly. But I want to get into the actual definition of a narcissist because I think it's very important to pay attention to dating red flags early on in the relationship when you're dating a guy. Because if you don't pay attention to red flags early on, you can find yourself in a situation where you have moved in with this person or you started a very serious relationship with this person, and you're just now finding things out about this person that you didn't know before, but later on it is difficult to leave the relationship or exit the relationship. It could be because you guys have moved in together. It could be because you guys maybe have 1 or 2 children together. It could be for a number of reasons. But the sooner that you recognize red flags early on in a relationship makes it easier to exit the relationship or ghost the person if needed, versus waiting later and realizing serious issues about this person later on, making it more difficult, okay? So that's why I wanted to go ahead and discuss 5 signs you're dating a narcissistic person or a person who potentially has narcissistic personality disorder, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you an article which basically states signs that you're dealing with a narcissistic person. Because like I said, I don't want to just give you my own opinion on what a narcissistic person is. I want you to understand actually what a narcissistic person is, so that way this will better help you to exit the relationship early on, and this will better help you to navigate the dating world, okay? All right, so number 1. Number 1 sign that you're dealing with a narcissistic person is they have a grandiose sense of self-importance, okay? So more than just arrogance or vanity, grandiosity is an unrealistic sense of superiority. Narcissists believe they are unique or special and can only be understood by other special people. All right, so I'm going to explain this in layman's terms, what this means. All right, so let's say you're on a date with a guy, all right, and you notice this guy likes to brag a lot. He likes to brag a lot about the people that he knows. He likes to brag a lot about the places that he's been. He just likes to brag a lot, okay? But you need to be asking yourself, does his accomplishments match what he's talking about or what he's bragging about per se, okay? If his accomplishments do not match what he's saying, all right, then that's a sign that you're dealing with somebody who's narcissistic. Narcissistic people oftentimes have delusions, and I'm not even going to say delusions. Narcissistic people will outright lie about the people that they know, the places that they've been, their sense of accomplishments. They'll just outright lie, okay? So you need to be paying attention to whether his accomplishments or the things he's talking about actually matches what you're seeing, all right? Because there are signs that you're dealing with somebody who's actually has a sense of achievement or actually has real accomplishments, all right? So you may need to do some research on this person on social media. Even social media, people can make up what they want, okay? So maybe not even social media. You may need to do a quick Google search, maybe find out people who've known them. Just do some background check on some people because oftentimes narcissists are liars, okay? They will fake it until they make it. So that's a number 1 sign that you're dealing with somebody who's a narcissist. Number 2, a narcissistic person lives in this fantasy world. They have delusions of grandeur, okay? So a narcissistic person's fantasy world is propped up by distortion, self-deception, and magical thinking. Okay? They have fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, attractiveness that make them feel special or in control. Okay? Narcissistic people, as I mentioned, they fake it until they make it. Okay? So if their accomplishments don't match the talk, if they don't walk the talk, if they don't walk the walk, they just talk the talk, that's a major sign that you're dealing with a narcissistic person. Because oftentimes a narcissistic person will not put the work into making their dreams come true. Oftentimes they will just brag. They will just talk a big game. They will cap a lot, so to speak. I mean, they will cap a lot, they will front a lot, but it doesn't really match what you see in front of them. All right? So that is a sign that you're dealing with a narcissist. But a narcissist, what they will try to do is they will try to sell you on this fantasy, okay? So a narcissistic guy oftentimes will try to get you to build him up. He will try to get you to invest in him because he wants you to buy into this fantasy that someday he's going to make it big, all right? So it's very important to pay attention to somebody who's delusional or a man who actually has what it takes to succeed and to make it and become a successful man. As a matter of fact, I really think it's actually better to just deal with men who actually have actual accomplishments. I don't believe in dating men who have potential. I don't believe in dating men who are on their way to being successful. I just think for a woman to invest in a man that's on his way to being successful is really actually just a little too risky, okay? Because you do have scenarios of men who, once they become successful, some men do become successful, the woman that invested in them, they leave that woman and go on to a more upgrade, so to speak. I wouldn't say upgrade, so to speak. I wouldn't say upgrade necessarily, but according to them, it's an upgrade. Okay, so I don't believe investing in a man. I believe that a man will invest in himself. He will do what it takes to build his own career. No man needs a woman to build him up. So for that reason, I don't believe in dating men with potential. But I do believe that narcissists oftentimes will try to sell you on potential or what they can be or what they can make of themselves. And you will see the fruits of someone's labor, all right? If what you're seeing around you doesn't match all the big game that he's talking, then you just need to leave it alone. All right, number 3. Needs constant praise and admiration. Narcissist sense of superiority is like a balloon that gradually loses air without a steady stream of applause and recognition to keep it inflated. An occasional compliment is not enough. Narcissists need constant food for their ego, so they surround themselves with people who are willing to cater to their obsessive craving for affirmation. All right, so let's talk about this for a moment. A narcissistic person, okay, let me just actually, before I get into this, let me say this first. Ladies, always remember that when you're dating a man, especially if you've done the work to level up and you put the work in yourself, you are the prize at that point. Never forget that, okay? If you find that you're with a man that instead of complimenting you and how good you look, he expects you to compliment him. He expects you to always tell him how handsome he is, how good looking he is, you know, how just constantly compliment him and all the attention and admiration be on him. You're dealing with a man who thinks that he's the prize. And if you're dealing with a man that thinks that he's the prize, then you're dealing with a narcissist, okay? Because decent, high-value men understand that when they're looking for a woman, they're going to provide for. They're looking for a woman that they can care for. They're looking for a woman. High-value men understand that they are dealing with a woman who is a prize, not the other way around. Okay? So if you find that a man is constantly focused on himself and then expects you to turn the attention onto him, don't fall for the okie doke. You need to leave. You need to exit. You need to ghost him. You need to do what you have to do. Okay? Never forget, you're the prize. All right. So, number 4, a sense of entitlement. So narcissists expect favorable treatment as their due. They believe that whatever they want, they should get. They expect people around them to automatically comply with their every wish and whim. If you don't anticipate or meet their every need, then you're useless. All right, so let's talk about that for a moment. So a narcissistic man, ladies, oftentimes he will expect you to invest in him. He will expect you to pour yourself into these dreams and fantasies of success, fame, or whatever fantasies he has going on. A lot of times he will expect you to invest in him. He will expect you to comply with whatever wish and whim. Narcissist people are oftentimes users, okay? So if you find that you're with a man and he expects you to basically invest, build him up, okay? Build him up, support him, help him with his career, be Bob the Builder or whatnot. You're dealing with a narcissistic man. Okay, this is not my opinion. This is why I wanted you to read this article to you so that you understand a professional's opinion of what a narcissist is. All right. And oftentimes narcissistic men will try to make you feel guilty if you don't support them by saying that, you're not loyal, you're not down for them, you only want to take their money, you're a gold digger, you're a user, you're not being a good woman to him. Oftentimes they will try to make you feel guilty. For if you don't give in to whatever his wishes are, okay? So, yes, understand that narcissists have a sense of entitlement. So this sense of entitlement may not apply to you at first when you're first dating, but you'll notice a sense of entitlement with his family members. He may borrow a little bit too much money from his family members, or he may, be always calling his family, his mama, for money, or always, contacting people in his family or friends to ask them to do a favor for him, so you may notice that at first, but eventually that will turn around on you. Okay, because you will be the new source of his narcissistic supply. All right, because chances are his family and friends are getting tired of him asking for money. They're getting tired of him living off their couch. They're getting tired of him, period. Okay, so for that reason, oftentimes narcissists, when they've exploited their family, okay, they will move on to victims, which is oftentimes somebody that they're dating, and they will oftentimes exploit the people that they're dating, because narcissist people, oftentimes people around them or people who've dealt with them eventually get tired of whatever BS they have going on. They get tired of them eventually, so they'll constantly need to find new sources of supply to supply their need of narcissism, to be their narcissistic supply, so to speak. That was a tongue twister. All right, but anyway. So narcissistic people, oftentimes when you're dating them, eventually you'll find them asking you from time to time, over time, for favor after favor after favor after favor. You know, so you'll start to notice that after a while. But an early sign that you're dating a narcissist is that they're a little too dependent on their family and friends. They're constantly asking them for favors. They're constantly asking for their help. They don't seem to have accomplished anything on their own. All right? So, number 5. Okay? Narcissists feel threatened whenever they encounter someone who appears to have something they lack, especially those who are confident and popular. They are also threatened by people who don't bow down to them or who challenge them in any way. Okay, so let's talk about this. So when you start to notice the other signs of a narcissist, or when people start to notice all the other signs that this person's delusional, they have a sense of entitlement, that they lie about their achievements, oftentimes people will call them out on it. And when that happens, what you'll find is that a narcissist will become rude, they'll become disrespectful, okay? They will belittle or demean these people as a defense mechanism, because narcissistic people have this fantasy. They're not in love with themselves, okay? Narcissistic people are truly not in love with themselves. They are in love with this idea of themselves. They create this fantasy of themselves, okay? So when you burst their bubble, so to speak, or when you poke holes into this fantasy world that they have, oftentimes they will belittle or demean you, or, you know, they will start basically outright lying on you, or, you know, they will look at you as an enemy. All right, so early signs that you're dealing with a narcissist, it could be when you go to a restaurant and, you know, you can notice that he is rude to the waiter, or, you know, or you also, when you're out and about, if you notice that he's rude to people who are beneath him, so to speak, or he feels are beneath him, that's a sign that you're dealing with a narcissist. Because oftentimes narcissists, they will love bomb you. They will make you feel special. They will blow up your ego, as so to speak. So from a narcissist, they will, in order to reel you into this fantasy world they have, they will oftentimes love bomb you. They will give you, they'll give you lots of compliments. They'll express early on that, you know, they've never felt this way about you. But you'll notice how he treats other people around him. And if how he treats other people around him doesn't match how he's treating you, eventually what's going to happen is that his treatment of other people, his family, his friends, people he feels are beneath him, that script, that interaction will eventually turn around on you once you get locked into a serious relationship with a narcissist. All right, so if you notice that he's rude or disrespectful to other people, eventually that will turn back around on you. You may not see it at first, but eventually it will. So that's another red flag you need to pay attention to, that you're dealing with a narcissist. All right? Narcissistic people are problematic because they need somebody to support this fantasy. And oftentimes they don't want to put the work in to achieving their dreams of success. So they will use other people to try to either achieve their dreams of success or to feed into their fantasy. Okay? So it's important that we recognize early signs that we're dealing with a narcissist before we get very involved with this person, especially emotionally involved, because love makes us blind. Okay, and once we're blinded with love, we become this person's new narcissistic supply. All right, and that we have been put in a situation where essentially we're being used and exploited. Another sign that I'm going to mention that you're dealing with a narcissist, which is a big one, is a lack of empathy. All right. A narcissistic person They expect all this love and attention from you, but they're not willing to give you the same in return. So let's say you're upset by something that they did, and rightfully so. You have a right to be upset. For example, they may try to turn things around on you, and you have an attitude, you have a problem. You're the one with the issue, not them. It's always you with the issue. It's never them. Narcissistic people will never apologize. They're never mature enough to admit that they're wrong. Okay? So anytime you have an issue with something that they've done, don't expect an apology from them. So this ties into their lack of empathy. Okay? They can't empathize with why you're upset with them. They can't empathize with why you feel what they did was wrong or out of line. So they will turn the tables on you, and oftentimes you will be the one always with the problem. All right? So those are some signs that you're dealing with a narcissist that I think are very important. All right? Because when you're on a date with someone or you're dating someone, it's very important to not worry so much about whether this man is husband material. You should be thinking about whether or not, number one, is he dangerous? Or number two, is he deceptive? Or both? Okay? You should be on the lookout for red flags. I'm not saying not enjoy yourself on a date. You should always enjoy yourself when you're out in a guy that you really like. But always have your eyes and ears open for red flags. Okay? Because it's easy for somebody to try to impress us on the first date, and if we're caught up in whether this person is relationship material rather than if this person has some issues about them that could be serious red flags later on, what happens is that we could be missing red flags that this person has serious issues going on. All right? So I just wanted to discuss 5 signs of why you could be dating a narcissist, or 5 signs of what a narcissist is, to assist you on your dating journey. So if you like this video, please like, please share, please subscribe, and also please comment down below on maybe your experiences of dealing with a narcissistic individual. All right? Thank you. This is Generally Gigi, and I'm just being genuine. Take care.